Reducing your property tax bill may sound nice. You have more money in your pocket, and absolutely, and we support that. We want Coloradans to have more money in their pockets as much as possible. What we're asking is for fire districts to be exempt from those cuts. You have municipalities and fire districts, kind of the two separate areas that you see fire departments primarily structured around. So the municipalities, you look at City of Colorado Springs, Denver, City of Fountain, Pueblo. Those that are municipalities are typically primarily funded through sales tax. And the fire districts across the state of Colorado are not funded through sales tax and are funded primarily through property tax. So any reduction in property tax is reduction in revenue, and that is going to have real impact to fire districts. The reality of the situation is if you reduce revenue available to fire districts, there's gonna be less firefighters and fire stations, less fire trucks on the road, and less ambulances responding. And those resources are gonna be even less available to respond statewide. You know, we've seen some of these large wildland fires. You look at the Marshall Fire in East Robeson and Black Forest and Waldo. Those big fires over the last 10 years have pulled resources from throughout this state to help those communities. So even though, you know, Colorado Springs is funded through sales tax and not property tax, there are still fire districts from all over the state of Colorado that are funded through property tax that are responding to that area to help. And if our revenue is reduced and we have less resources, that mutual aid is going to lessen. Our ability to send resources outside of our own district is going to lessen because we're going to have to maintain as much of our resource within our own district to respond to the taxpayers within our own jurisdictional boundaries. And that's not what we want to do. I think you talk to any fire chief across this state, and they want to be available for those big fires. They want to be available to help anybody and everybody throughout the state of Colorado. Cimarron Hills Fire Protection District, we're one of 18 fire districts that are in El Paso County. I also serve as the president of the Pikes Peak Chiefs Council that represents those 18, and others in that group also include the DoD fire departments that we have in our area and the municipal fire departments. So we all come together as fire chiefs to form partnerships and just try to help each other with anything and everything we can throughout the county. Now when it comes to the funding, when we're talking about fire districts, you know, I would imagine that if you talk to these municipalities, they're gonna stand with us because the real impacts that we are gonna see are also gonna have second, third order effects for them. If Cimarron Hills has less firefighters on the street or no ambulances available due to cuts in our budget, then somebody's gonna have to pick that up. Whether it's AMR for the ambulances, whether it's the City of Colorado Springs for fire, we're gonna have to rely on mutual aid more than we do now to be able to cover those responses. So there are impacts to them. They may not see the monetary impact, they may not see the revenue reduction like we do, but they're absolutely gonna see an operational impact. We want our revenue stabilized. We're not asking to become rich, we're not asking to, you know, just hoard money. We are asking to have our revenue stabilized so that we can provide fire and emergency services the way that our district needs and the way that our residents deserve. Our call numbers are going up, and I think you'll see that across Colorado. I don't know that any fire districts are really seeing a reduction in call volume. Most are seeing increases because the population of Colorado has exponentially grown. You know, you saw just within a few years ago, you saw El Paso County become the #1 most populated county in the state of Colorado. And so we are continuing to see that growth. I know our district alone, we're sitting at about 29,000 residents right now. The apartment complexes and some of the other subdivisions that we have coming in and some of the commercial that we have coming in, we're expecting our population growth to be around probably 35 to 37,000 within the next 5 years. So we're adding that growth, but yet we're gonna see less revenue available to have staffing available to respond to those calls. More people bring more calls, and that's just the reality of the situation for us. So we need staff on board, we need the resources, we need the fire trucks to be able to respond to those calls. Special session last year with the legislation that came out of there, and I don't remember the Senate bill off the top of my head, but the bill that came out of there and was signed by the governor, we saw about a $480,000 reduction in our budget. Now, I will say what was nice and what helped in that special session, they did listen to the fire chiefs and they did give us backfill for the majority of that. So we did get that backfill this year, but they've already said that they're not interested in backfill for future years. So what that really means for Cimarron Hills is right now, that initially means that we are putting our capital program, our capital sustainment program, kind of on hold, or at least not putting it as faster pace as we need to. You know, we are responding in trucks that, you know, we have a 1999 engine, we've got a 2005 engine, we've got a 2007 engine, we have a 2005 ambulance. We have all of these older resources, and what we're standing in today is a 1974 fire station that has had very little done to it since 1974, when it was an all-volunteer department and is now staffed with 8 people per day. So there are things that need to get done that we are going to have to put on the back burner because of this reduction in revenue. The homeowner's insurance kind of a two-pronged issue, because there are certain areas, and especially when you started getting into the wildland urban interface, you started getting into some of these fire districts. You know, in El Paso County, you look at Highway 115 Fire District, you look at the Broadmoor area, you look at Green Mountain Falls and Cascade up with the Highway 24 pass. Those that are in that wildland urban interface environment are already having struggles getting homeowners insurance. There's already insurance companies that are driving those prices up because they already live in dangerous areas. Now, you turn around and you take those fire districts and reduce their staffing, reduce their budgets, reduce what they can provide and are available to provide. And homeowners insurance companies are going to start pulling out of those areas entirely. And that has been seen across the nation. You've seen that in California. There's other places where that is happening, where homeowners insurance companies are saying, we're just not going to insure you. And that is a real problem for the district residents. The other side that impacts, so not only is our homeowners insurance going to go up because our resources are reduced, we also, not every fire district, but most fire districts have what's called an ISO rating, Insurance Services Office rating. And that rating is based on the resources you have, the training that you provide, and the staffing that you can send to any fire emergency that occurs within your jurisdictional boundaries. And as we lose resources, those ISO ratings are going to increase. So you see, like Colorado Springs is an ISO of 1. If they were to reduce some of their staff and not be able to respond calls, then you're going to see that go from a 1 to a 2 to a 3. You know, Cimarron Hills Fire Protection, we take a lot of pride. In 2021, we were able to move our district from an ISO of a 3 to a 2. And in that reduces homeowners insurance rates for the people within our jurisdiction. Now, if we were to have to cut staffing and not have people available for these calls, that ISO rating is going to go back to 3, and it may go even higher, up to 4 or 5. I think right now what we want to see from the legislators is we want to see 233 passed in May. We know what those impacts are. We can account for those impacts. It still hurts and it's still not ideal, but leave those in place. And if you're going to reduce property taxes anymore going into next year, keep fire districts exempt from that. And that's what we're looking for, is just exempt us from future reductions so that we can stabilize our revenue and try to plan the best that we can for our districts moving forward.